All right, recording techniques class. I didn't want to make a big deal out of this part, but I thought I should include something as a reminder. This is your guitar amplifier. You want to use an SM57 on a short boom stand. In front of this, the speaker is right in the middle. You can see it from behind. It's the 12-inch speaker. You want to put that speaker on, put the microphone on the speaker somehow in accordance with one of the videos or articles that you read that I put in the assignment document. And then you want to make sure that the settings on this guitar amplifier are like this. This is kind of the important part. You want to have all of them up, straight up and down, except for this volume knob. It can be set to the left like this, to about number 2 right there. And then the output should be set to 2 watts, and this is your power switch to turn on when you're ready to go. The guitar itself gets plugged into that jack right there. So remember that you're going to need a headphone box like this, and you want to leave the headphone volumes on the box all the way up for starters, and the cable for the headphone box gets plugged into really the only place that it can be plugged in. There's 2 outlets for headphone boxes on that panel right there, so they go a direction that only plugs into these boxes. So I just want to remind you on that one, and then you're going to need to grab a pair of headphones for that, of course. And then finally over here, you're going to need to grab a guitar cable. So the one we used in class today was this 1/4-inch cable with the 90-degree on it, but this red one back here would work, or one of these other ones right over here would also work. And then the guitar, of course, right there. Make sure the volume knobs on the guitar are all the way up. You just never know, but that means all the way to the right, all 4 knobs all the way to the right. And then plug into the mono jack on the guitar right here, the mono one. I think that'll work. The other one probably works too, but that'll be the way to go on that. Anyway, then remember your SM. So you've got the guitar, the cable, the amplifier, the settings like I've showed you here, a pair of headphones plugged into the headphone box, the volume's all the way up, and you're going to plug that microphone into one of your API microphone preamp inputs, and that's what you're going to select in the Pro Tools session to record your guitar. Now we got our guitar recorded into Pro Tools. This is the session that we did earlier today with Noah playing and Paige running the Pro Tools session. So the first thing I want to do to make this easy for me is go ahead and just trim up the guitar parts that I'm going to be playing. So I'm going to go ahead and group, just click the all groups thing that's always there. Just turn on the whole group. So now I can click one of these things and it just gets them both. Delete that there. Delete the, we'll delete right here. All right, so now when I double click this, I can turn off of the group now. But now when I double click this, that's what I'm going to bounce. And that's the important thing to know is I'm going to bounce. You want to have trimmed it down to what it is you're going to bounce, so it's real quick and easy for you to do. The next thing I want you to do is use the clip gain feature to get the levels more close to each other. So I'm going to gain this one up to make it a little bit louder. Let's play here and see what we have. That's great. They're matched in together. Awesome. So now that we have that done, I'm going to double click to get the range selected that I've already trimmed to, and I'm going to bounce that to disk, and I'm going to call that guitar overdub dry. So we want to make sure that we guitar overdub dash dry. We want to make sure that we print that first before we do any other work so that we know what the dry, raw, recorded sound sounds like. By the way, we don't need to make this a WAV file. I know one of you did that for last week, so it's a huge file and unnecessary for assignment. So just switch this to MP3, and then make sure that you're in the bounced files folder of the session that you're working in. So here we're going to go ahead and bounce that now. It's going to bring up the MP3 page, and we'll go right on through that. Cool. Now we're ready to apply compression, and so we want to instantiate on both tracks, insert on both tracks, under Dynamics, the Dyne 3 compressor limiter plugin. So we'll put one there, and we will put one here, Dyne 3 compressor limiter mono. I'm going to click back on this first one. I'm going to mute the guitar dub track, and I'm just going to listen to this first track. Now, according to the assignment, I'd like the ratio here set to 4:1, so we're going to move that up. Boom, there. Let's get it to stay. And then we're going to grab this threshold knob and bring it down until the reduction meter is reading somewhere between -6 and -10, or between -6 and -12 is fine too, somewhere in here on the hard part. So I'm going to go ahead and click when I say hard parts, I mean the louder parts. I'm going to go ahead and click to a louder section. Cool. See, and it already is coming down like down here to -4, 5. So I know that I'm just going to bring it down another 6. It was at -24. Let's make it -32. All right, let's try that. Now play it again. Yeah, check it out, man. So that reduction on that loud part, and that probably was the loudest part, that came down between -6 and -12. That's good. Let's play it again. Cool. Now, we're going to use, I didn't put this in the assignment, but since we know that the audio was reduced by around 10 dB, we're going to go ahead and make up the lost volume there by turning up the gain by, let's go with 10 dB and see if it doesn't clip. And now what's going to happen, that's called makeup gain. Since we know that the compressor turned down the loud spots by as much as 10 dB, by turning the entire signal up by 10 dB to compensate for it, the average volume of the entire signal is louder now. And it still shouldn't clip because the compressor is going to take care of that. Let's make sure. That's great. Everything's working good. All right, cool. So that is that. That's the rhythm track. Now we're going to switch to the compressor on the dub track. We're going to unmute the dub track, mute the original rhythm track, and find the loud spot of the dub track, which it looks like was here. So I'm going to click here. Remember, I'm using spacebar to start and stop. All right, cool. Now I want to set the ratio here again to 4:1, like I asked for in the assignment, and I'm going to play this and see what kind of compression I'm getting. So right off the bat, I'm getting, it's flashing just past -3, so we're going to say -4, and I want it to be at -10, so I'm going to add, 6 more dBs of reduction. So I'm going to take what was -24 down to -30 and see what happens. Like that. Let's play that. That's great. So now I'm reducing once again by about -10, so I'm going to go ahead and make up that gain by putting the gain knob up plus 10 dB. All right, perfect. Now let's play it one more time. Oh, that is great. You can see the reduction over here and the level now, and both guitar tracks are louder, and they're not clipping. They're under control. Their average volume is louder, and they are compressed. So let's listen to the track kind of from the beginning here. We're going to unmute the rhythm track. Let's listen to them both together. All right, that is awesome. That is enough. That is sounding so much better. If we compare that to the dry recording that we recorded first, we'll be able to see how much more guitar we're hearing now. The average volume of the guitar tracks, both guitar tracks, is much higher and under control. So that's much more useful in a mix, and that's what compression is all about. So now we're going to add some reverb, but we're going to add that reverb only to the guitar line part, the overdub part. So that's right here. We're going to insert the reverb after the compressor, and I want you to go, and I want you to use, we're going to go plug in reverb. I want you to use the D-verb. You see you have the choice between D-verb mono and D-verb mono to stereo. And as I explained in class, the mono to stereo is going to put a stereo reverb onto what is a mono guitar input. So that would be just like real life. If you sat and played a mono guitar in a room, you would hear it in both of your ears, and it would be a stereo reverberation that you'd hear in that room. So we're going to emulate that by using the mono to stereo reverb plugin. So we'll turn that on, and you can do any settings you want here, I've said in the assignment, but I recommend starting with a medium room, and definitely, at least, despite what settings you experiment with here, you need to bring the mix slider down to 50% or lower. That's going to combine the original sound of the guitar with the reverb added in on top of it. If you were at 100%, it would be only the reverb sound. And if you're at dry, you're hearing only the original guitar sound. So 50% is right in the middle, and that's a good place to hear both. You can adjust it from there if you'd like to, but this is a good place to put it. Now you'll notice that by default, we didn't talk about this in class, but by default on this plugin, the gain is at -4, which means the reverb effect is going to actually turn down the entire track by 4 dB. I don't think we want that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back all the way up to 0 so that it doesn't make the track quieter. Now let's see what happens by playing the track here on the loud part. Now that sounds really, really pretty good. So let's play it from the beginning-ish, right here. Yeah, that's perfect. See, both guitar tracks are still balanced. Their volumes are still balanced the way we had it. But the rhythm track is dry, and the guitar dub track has got a stereo reverb on it. Really nice spatial effect, and they sound very cool together. So that's that. Let's close that. Now we're going to double click on either one of these tracks because they're both exactly the same length, because that's how we trimmed them. And now we're going to bounce that, and we're going to bounce that, and we're going to call that, what did I say to do that? Bounce that audio, guitar overdub wet. So that's the wet one. That means it has the effect on it, or the effects on it in this case. I want to make sure it's going into the bounce files folder. I want to make sure it's just an MP3. And we're ready to go. We're going to bounce that. Go on through that one. There it is. And we're done. Be sure, or take a look here. In the Pro Tools session folder, you now have 2 bounced files, a guitar overdub dry and a guitar overdub wet. And you can listen to them right there and compare your work. Be sure and put both of those files in, along with pictures you took of the miking setup. Be sure and do that. Put all of that in your class Google Drive folder for this week's assignment, and you are done. See y'all later.